episode, we find out how competitive the Subaru drivers really are.
Break it down.
In this episode, we find out how competitive the Subaru drivers really are. Carl, hit us with that video once again.
Break it down.
Hi, everybody. This is Abdul Sayed, Motortalk with Witzenberg, episode 6. And I have a tremendous lineup of guests on the show tonight. We have none other than Baden Heights, my co-host or our chairman. And we have Chett Meyer. We have Calvin Beekman, Nadia Singh, and Fatima Gabier. So you guys are in for an absolute treat tonight. And they're going to be discussing, I'm going to ask them a few questions about some of the origin stories and maybe the state of motorsport today, a little bit about the cars and what the experience was at the Gymkhana and what the future of motorsport holds in South Africa. So I want to just say hi to Byron. Hi, Byron. Welcome to the show.
No, thanks, Abdul. Thanks for having me. And let me tell you one thing. I was mesmerized by some great shots in that video over there. Lovely camera angles, everything, and some great cars actually being displayed over there. Too bad there's not a Toyota in between there, but we'll let it pass for tonight because it's Scooby night tonight.
Well, yeah, exactly, Byron. So we don't want to put a Toyota in there and make them feel bad, because they spend a lot of money on these Scoobies. And 1300 Toyota comes and beats the time. I don't want that to happen. So let's keep the Scooby guys happy tonight. I actually have my sweater on as well, the Scooby sweater. Thank you, Nadia.
I was thinking about that.
But I have a Toyota hat, as you guys can see. So I'm not too sure.
Yes.
I mean, we're the spark. They're both made in Japan. Hello, Nadia. Welcome to the show tonight.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me back on the show tonight.
Well, I know that you had you were emceeing another event tonight. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks for telling them to take a hike and come on the show tonight.
Priorities, Abdul.
Absolutely, because they say Gymkhana or motorsport solves any problem. So it even solves the COVID problem, it solves the work problem, solves even marriage problems. Trust me, when you're a navigator in a Gymkhana car, it even solves your marriage problems. So welcome to the show, and thank you for being on the show tonight, Nadia.
Thanks,
let's call Fatima up. Fatima, how are you? Oh, Chett's there. Hang on. Fatima, give me 1 second. Hello, Chett, how are you?
Hi.
Well, welcome to the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
To the show. No, it's a pleasure, man. Thanks for giving up your time for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
We're gonna have a lekker chat. Don't worry. Even if you want to bring the kids in, it doesn't matter. That's what it's about. The family chat. The kids can come and have a goal as well. No. Put them on your lap and talk. It doesn't matter. This is Gymkhana. Believe me, this is Gymkhana. Fatima, how are you, Fatima?
I'm good, Abdul, and yourself?
Oh, really good. Nice to have you back on the show. Oh, nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah,
Hopefully
wow.
we'll be.
Yeah, and you're kind of unique in a way because when you rocked up at your first Gymkhana, it was in a mommy's car, a Subaru Forester.
That's what everyone called it, right? That's what everyone called it, a mommy's car. Because it's like, what the hell?
But that's exactly what Gymkhana is about. You rock up with your mommy, with a mommy's car, with a daddy's car, with a sleeper. It doesn't matter what you come with. That's what Gymkhana is about. So welcome to the show, and thanks for giving up some of your family time to chat to us. And last but not least, Calvin Beekman. Welcome to our show.
What's up? Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Hello. How are you, man?
Good stuff.
Lekker. We were having a nice chat before. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's good to have you here, and thanks for coming onto the show, and thanks for giving up your time, for being here. And Byron, you want to start off with some questions, or shall I kick off there?
Yeah, no, we can start off first. I think as well, we spoke to Calvin just before the show went on to air. So I'll start with Calvin, being a man who loves single-seater racing and so on. He actually came from single-seater racing, but I just realized now, I was looking up a little bit, doing a little bit of YouTube, Facebooking and Googling. I remember you drove, when we talk about Formula Renaults, a Formula Renault that was painted slightly similar to the early 90s Williamses. Am I correct?
Yeah.
There you go. And
camel colors.
So Calvin, tell us a little bit about this, the origin of your motorsport.
Yes.
Okay. It's a long story. So I'll keep it short and sweet. So my old man used to do rally back in the day in oval track in Nelspruit at a place called Glenwood Motorsport, and basically I grew up around cars and bikes, and my old man, when I was 3, he landed up putting me on a PV50, and he was like, hey, go for it, see if you enjoy it. And I remember cruising around at the school, on the school field, when you could do that back in the day, going flat out and just having a jaunt. And from the 2 wheels, we moved on. Cars just kept growing and growing and growing. And then we moved to Pretoria, and we didn't do much motorsport at all. And then moved to Cape Town, where a friend of his, Romani Smithdorf, he raced single-seaters, Formula Vs, and said, why don't you come check it out? And from there, my old man said, hey, let's get a car. And we went from that to the single-seaters and just, kept going, having a jaunt.
It's like a motorsport is a jaunt.
Yeah, it just, the only thing politics eventually gets the better of it, but it's great fun. It's totally great fun. Like,
we're gonna touch on that a bit later on about the politics, but for now, let's get on to Chett. Mr. Meyer, are you well, sir?
He's on mute.
Yeah.
Chett number 26, as he puts it in the name as well.
Yes, Abdul. Sorry.
That's very personal. Very good.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, no worries. Can you hear me?
How's it, Abdul? Yes, I can hear you fine.
You well,
thanks for having me again. Yes, thank you. Very well.
That's a pleasure. I know you're not a man of many words, but I see a very interesting picture in the background there. Tell us a little about that picture in the background.
Yes, it's quite. A couple of us for 2 years got invited to this Gymkhana grid thing that happened at in Joburg. They needed some local guys to also compete against the likes of Ken Block and all the good guys from overseas. We got given the opportunity to race against the best in the world. Chris Christopherson, Bakarut, and all the guys. Peter Solberg and his son. So we were thrown in the deep end, and we learned a lot during the process.
Well, tell us, that's very interesting. We actually very honored to have you on the show tonight, a man of that stature. I mean, to kind of rub shoulders with the world's best. The Solbergs Solbergs are really, really at another level, especially Peter Solberg. So what can I say?
Yes, so I mean, one of my dreams, when I was growing up, is you know, when Peter Solberg won the WRC championships in my model car in the Hawkeye in 2006, 2007. So it was actually quite a thing to race him. You know, the guy I looked up to with the same car.
Yeah, interesting. And you said while you were growing up. Well, you know, when you're involved in motorsport, you're kind of always just growing up, no matter how old you are.
Yes, you don't grow up; the toys just get more expensive.
Yeah, well, you're right there. Byron, I'm going to ask you to introduce Nadia and Fatima. So you kind of know Nadia and Fatima, so just maybe give it a bash.
Well, first, you know, I'll say Fatima first because we haven't seen her in a very, very long time. Like you said, Abdul, in a mommy car, an SUV, a different kind of Subaru from the rest that we're talking about over here. But like you said, that's the plan, and that's how Gymkhana is. Fatima, how did you get your intro into motorsport initially? What was the spark?
Well, Nadia, Nadia basically just like, you know, encouraged and wanted me to participate. She's like, come watch, and then it's like, come navigate for me, which I then ended up doing. And then when I saw how much fun it was, I was like, okay, let me give this a bash. And I think at one of the Gymkhanas, it was like this big ass bakkie, and it was going around all of those objects and stuff. And I was like, okay, if that bakkie can do it, then surely I'm going to try and do it as well. So I think it's through Nadia that I got my first introduction. Prior to that, it was track days, but being as a passenger and a, you know, cheerleader along the sidelines. But yeah, that's basically how I got into it. And since then, I've participated in a few rally sprints, one of which I drove, and then the other navigating. So it's fun, good fun.
Yeah, just one thing before I move on to Nadia, taking such a big vehicle around the cones and everything, you high up, got big tires, to just navigate through maybe some tight sections. How does that feel? I don't know if you've tried doing, if you've driven along with somebody and it's in a much lower car, it seems that you could see the cones much easier.
So I've driven with Nadia, and the experience between her car and my car is obviously way different. She's able to take more tighter corners, you know, and keep it quite neat. But I'm having to fight with my car's traction control that's switched off, and obviously the fact that the car's so big and it's rolling around quite a bit. But I think the whole experience basically just made me more confident in the car, made me more confident in my driving, and it also just showed me what the car can do. And most of all, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Like some of the pictures that were taken on that day, it's me and my navigator, Wendy. We were just having such a jaw because we were like just screaming and driving, but it was fun. And it's actually not that difficult. I think I probably would have more fun if I had a manual car. But for now, the XV will have to do.
Well, manual cars and zero traction control always spells fun in my mind. But moving on to Nadia, who we always talk about Nadia having a very special Subaru. Maybe she can just remind us again about that special Subaru. Why is it so special? I don't think I've heard the complete story yet. I think tell us more about it, Nadia.
Thanks, Byron. Just before I say that, before I talk to you guys about the car, I just want to quickly say hi to Ashraf, Atira, and Sakina, and thank them for joining us. The car is very special to me. There's 350 that were produced. So it's the only one in South Africa. It's fortunately, we started the show early because by the time I give you guys the name of the car, we would have gone 5 minutes into the show. But it's called the Subaru Impreza WRX STI Spec C Type RA. And it's a 2-liter twin scroll. So it's a 2005 car, of which, as I say, 350 were produced to set the Nürburgring record at the time. But it's got a 2006, like Chett's car, it's got a 2006 facelift.
I do see on your car there is a sticker of the Nordschleife, the Nürburgring. Have you been yourself?
I have not. All I've got is the T-shirt and the sticker on the car, and that's like bucket list. That's number one. I would love to do it. I hear it's daunting, but I would love to drive it one day.
Now I'll tell you, daunting. Abdul's routes for Gymkhana are much more daunting than the Nordschleife. I'll tell you that much. But Nadia, you actually are basically a converted Cape Townian. You're not a natural born Cape Townian. You come from mostly up country, and you competed there, of course, before you came down to Cape Town. Eh?
Yeah, so I'm a proud farm girl. I'm actually from the North Coast, so I'm a KZN girl. And then I spent about 17 years in Johannesburg, and that's where the bug actually bit. And it started with Subaru, very similar to what Chett was saying. I mean, my absolute hero is Peter Solberg, and I suppose that's why I love the brand as much as well. So yeah, it all started in Johannesburg.
And coming down from Johannesburg, I've heard many stories actually from guys and girls coming down. It's a very different feeling up there from when you compete up in Joburg and the northern parts of the country, coming down to South Africa. Not only from a weather and environment point of view, but actually from a feeling point of view with the competitors and everything like it. What have you noticed as your main differences between competing up country and competing down in Cape Town?
So I think initially, probably the biggest difference and the biggest frustration has been that in Gauteng, you have so many tracks. You've got Swartkops, you've got Kyalami, which, I mean, no normal human being can afford, but you have got Kyalami. You've got Red Star, which is open to cars. You've got Midval. You've got just a 2-hour drive. You've got Pekisa and Valcom, whereas you're limited to what you can do in Cape Town. So obviously, and I mean, that's why Abdul, when I gave Abdul the shirts, I literally said to him, thanks for giving the Subaru guys a platform to play, because we don't have as many events as we do have in Johannesburg and Calvin and Chett can attribute to that. So that was probably the biggest difference. But I do think the one common thing is the motorsport family. I see it in Gymkhana. We are just one big happy family. We all get along so well, and we all just push and motivate each other. And in Johannesburg, I found exactly the same thing. It's, finding your tribe, and really the motorsport family is incredibly special. So that's the common thing.
All right. So, Abdul?
Yeah.
Any questions from your side?
Yeah. Nadia and Fatima, what is exciting is that motorsport is perceived to be a man's sport. But with you guys on board and a couple of Atira as well, and Nikki as well, there's a couple of, the ladies are kind of, I call them ladies because they just are ladies. And, you guys are just, it's so nice to see you guys come on board and get more and more and more and more people involved in Gymkhana. So maybe I want to just go back to Calvin. I mean, you come from a single-seater background, Calvin. How did you find the first Gymkhana, or how did you actually get to come and drive the first Gymkhana? And how did you find the first Gymkhana?
Okay, let me start with Dan. Daniel. So Daniel Blazer. Yeah, everybody knows Dan now. So he's a buddy of mine, and I work with him. And I was under one of the Mercs at the time, and he came out and he's like, "Oh yeah, so I've entered the Gymkhana." I'm like, "Oh rad, when is it?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's end of the month, 21st." So then I'm like, "Oh, I so badly want to join." So he's like, oh, "Okay, cool. Yeah. Next thing, I'm on the list." The original idea was to get my girlfriend to actually run her car because the car is actually hers. And it turned out she wanted to, but she wanted some practice before she got to play in front of everybody else. How we met, she took how's that? Basically, she took me on a date the one night, and on the way to the restaurant, she did a handbrake turn. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
word!
that's it, solved. She comes from like also a pedigree, like racing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I enjoyed the Gymkhana fully. It's great space to just go and learn the car. I bought the car for her. It was like 3 weeks before the event, and it was all the way up in Margate. And I saw the car online, flew up, bought the car, drove the car back, took a chance, not knowing the car. But it just felt good. Like from the start, it felt good. So took the chance, drove it down, got here safely, and didn't touch the car since. Like I didn't even wash it, to be honest. And then yeah, flipping came out and played with you guys, and really enjoyed it. Just need to get the handbrake working.
Well, that's the next one. You get the handbrake working. Ashfaq says that you should bring a single seater to the next Gymkhana. I'm not sure how that's going to work. And
Ashfaq should do that too.
yeah,
Bring us
well,
some-
I don't know. He's the commentator for the next event. So, and I see Daniel. Yeah, hello Daniel. I see you're going to be at the next event, so we can't wait to see that 350Z ass coming out there. And who else is here? Shalka, Hailey Wertheimer. So it says, "Good luck, Dad." So she's not my daughter. I don't think Byron has got a daughter. I don't think it's Calvin. He's too young. Okay, we were just trying to figure out who this was. So it's actually Chet's wife. Okay, cool. So Chet, you up next. Right. So Chet, it was also your first Gymkhana, right?
Pardon? It's also my first?
It was also your first Gymkhana in Cape Town.
Yes, so funny story. During the COVID thing, my parents stay in Cape Town, so we decided we'll come visit the granny and grandpa and come and work down here. So we both in IT, so it makes no difference. And my son, so we came down here, and 3 months later we decided we're going to stay. We sold our house in Joburg, and we now live here. The car got down about 4 weeks ago, and yeah, it was my first event. And it was fantastic.
So, well, that is really something very good for Cape Town, I must say, because the guys in Joburg are kind of more, what should I say, motivated to drive. The guys in Cape Town, we can get away with one event a month. The guys in Joburg are asking me, can we have an event every Sunday or every week? I think myself, I also need to sleep, eh? So, yeah, but you know what? It's good to have a new, you guys are fairly new to Gymkhana, and I'm not sure what you guys did in Joburg. I know you did Gymkhana Grid, which is slightly different to actually what we do here. But how did you feel after your first Gymkhana? Was it much different? Was it exciting? Did you enjoy it? Was the atmosphere good?
So, no, look, it was fantastic. So in Joburg, yes, there's a lot of events. One of the biggest events there that we all did, which was the Michelin Cup. So it was an event for all sorts of aspects of racing. There was hill climb, there was drags, there was Gymkhana, and there was track, and there was car sprints, and that all kind of added together to the final winner at the end. So you didn't have to have the fastest car. It was the best of all the racing that we had. But now it got a bit hectic, and so and also there's a hell of a lot more competitors there. So you drive and you push each other. There's like 5 drivers within like a second of each other. So it's constructive competitiveness,
Yeah.
So it makes you faster and all of that. But it gets a bit much. So coming down to Cape Town, we made a promise with the family and everything. We're going to do more family type events. Tone it down a little bit, enjoy Cape Town. So this Gymkhana was fantastic. So the whole family came through on the day. The kids were there. Hailey was there, my wife, and and we loved it. There was no negative feelings, with the guys that have been here for a long time, and just this new guy on the block or whatever. Everybody was welcoming, even after the event and the result or whatever. It was fantastic. I just think, the ladies, Nadia and Faye, I'm going to put in seat rails for my car, so it'll be part of your petition very soon. I'll turn the boost a little bit for her, but yeah, so there's going to be another lady coming soon.
Or turn the boost up. That's the most important, not down.
Sure.
Yeah, Chet, you and Nadia, you guys come from Johannesburg. So in Cape Town,
Yes.
we kind of stuck with one venue because I would have loved to, even in the old days, Gymkhana was in the little outskirts, the dorp is in Paarl, in Wellington, in the Strand, in Vredenburg, on the outskirts of Cape Town. It becomes a bit costly, number one, and we're trying to keep costs down for motorsport. So for next year, just to give you guys a heads up, I have applied for between 6 to 8 dates for the year, and we haven't gotten a reply yet. But hopefully we're going to end up with 6 to 8 dates, which is kind of comfortable for everybody. It's comfortable for the organizers, it's comfortable for the drivers. Yeah, instead of, so that's kind of what's going to happen for next year. Baden, tonight it's you in charge of the ladies, so you got to get going with the ladies over there. Ask Faye a little bit about the cooking mutton, lamb curry or something. I don't know. Who did that?
So there's food involved as well, because I like food. I can tell you that. Motorsport and food are my two things. The only thing I want to know is I want a guarantee from her when she's coming back. Because
oh gosh, the pressure.
No pressure.
I think Fatima's coming back, and then she's not there, and it's like, broken promises. So,
I'm sorry.
so for next year, is there a plan next year, Fatima? Maybe I know 2020 has been a bit of a shaken up year with everything, and I think what happens is it will be great to have you back with us.
So I'm not sure about next week's event, so I'm still two-minded about that. But the intention, funnily enough, I think 2 days ago was a year that I did my first Gymkhana, like actually driving. And the plan was to drive this year, but obviously, like you said, COVID happened. So I never had an opportunity. And then you guys were doing this Gymkhana testing runs and all of those. And then I've also in the interim participated in other type of events. So my dates never really clash. So Abdul, I would really like to have those dates up front so that I can plan.
I wish I could.
Motorsport event I will attend. But definitely for next year, I'm quite keen to get my car out there again. I thoroughly enjoy the Gymkhana. Even navigating for Nadia is a lot of fun. You'll find me practicing the route if we get it like a couple of days before the time. In my mind, drawing out papers, the whole works. So I really enjoy it. I enjoy the whole Gymkhana vibe, the family vibe, the whole Witzenberg Motorklub members. All of them are really amazing. I managed to get my sister Sakina's on here at the moment. My nephew just sent a message. At my first Gymkhana driving, I got them to come out with all the 4 kids. And the boys had such a blast. They absolutely enjoyed watching Auntie Faye driving and participating in motorsport, and they obviously loved seeing all the cars there as well. So so the plan, definitely, God willing, is to participate fully in Gymkhana for next year. And if Nadia still wants me to be a Navi as well, I'll navigate for her.
Yes.
Affirmative there, and also looking by the support you're getting on the chat as well, Fatima. Everybody's cheering to come back, and I think that's the important thing. But it's actually an interesting question. It's going to be a controversial question. It's for both you and for Nadia. In recent years, now Abdul is always talking about that generally, stereotypically, that motorsport's a man's world, the man's sport. But we've seen over the years with the Women in Motorsport Day on the 9th, we always used to have the W Series overseas, the single-seater series for women. Do you believe there should be initiatives still for women, even though we're all the same? Because basically what motorsport is all about is that men and women can compete equally with each other, which I love. That you don't see it as a man versus a woman, or a woman versus a woman, or a man versus a man. You see it as a competitor versus a competitor. And that's what I like. What is your thoughts based on that? Is it something, a stigma attached to it for you?
I think for me, if we want to get more women into the sport or to participate, at least make it a bit easier for them and less intimidating. I mean, I don't mind. I've been competitive most of my life. So like, going up with the guys or participating with other females, it doesn't really matter to me. But I think for people that's never done it or never participated and maybe want to try for the first time, maybe having a women's league or a women's session just so that they can come and try it out and see. And then maybe hopefully from there they'll move in and compete with the rest of the group of people. So yeah, but like for me personally, I don't have any issues participating and competing against guys. Really, I don't. But maybe Nadia's got a different thought.
Why should you? Because I think that's the beautiful thing about motorsport is that it's one of the few sports where men and women can compete against each other, and you're competing as a competitor, whether you're a man or a woman, and I think that's beautiful. And Nadia, your thoughts?
Byron, just before you guys get Nadia's thoughts, do you mind me saying something? Byron?
Yes, sure, go for it, Abdul. You
Yeah.
You are the guy. I follow your lead. You're my mentor.
No. Well, Ashfaq put a thing here. Byron, women are superior to men. Don't let them fool you. I agree, because don't ask me to give birth. I'll probably die of the pain. So I fully agree, Ashfaq. Right, so
Ashfaq's he's got a lot of wisdom. I'm going to tell you that. And my conversations with him, he says some very poignant things, and I agree with him 100%. 100%.
It's a hell of a word that I was going to look it up in the dictionary. But anyhow, Faye,
I heard it earlier today, so I thought I'd use it.
Faye, you said something very interesting. That, and what we're trying to do with Gymkhana is, yes, it's competitive, but rule number one is, Nadia, what's rule number one?
Have fun.
Absolutely. So yes, we do time the competitors, but when you get there, you just have a jaw. That's really what it's about. In fact, you do one practice run, kind of, like when you just getting to know the route. You can walk the route if you wish, you and your navigator, and then you kind of get 4 runs for the rest of the time, depending on how much time we have available. So, the whole idea is to have fun. Get to know your car, get to learn your car, get to use the handbrake, get to change the gears, get to use different gears. Whatever you want to do, it's a safe environment to kind of learn and get to know your car and build a team with your navigator or a group of navigators, or get different navigators in every run to grow the sport. That's really what it's about. And that's what we're going to keep yes, obviously for people like Chett and Calvin and Leon and a couple of other guys, Sean, Sean is not competitive at all. I mean, he just comes and has a jaw. We hope Sean is listening.
He just breaks side
so, yeah. Well, no, that's Leon. But and Sean with the other Subaru. So you know what? There's place for everybody. It's there. The main focus is to have fun. So, Byron, sorry, just going back to Nadia there.
No, not at all. I don't know if Nadia remembers the question. I've forgotten the question, I think.
I remember.
You remember? You're better than me then. Okay, great, Frick. Go Frick.
I remember. So I fully agree with Faye. I think I've been in a fortunate position. I joined the Subaru Club in 2004, and for probably the first 3 years, I was the only girl in the club. So I've kind of always done events and participated with the majority group of guys. But I will tell you, first, second, third event, you do feel slightly intimidated because you're out of your comfort zone. So I agree with Faye. I agree with Faye when she says, if you want more women to enter the sport and if you want to just build up their confidence a little bit, because not everybody is just going to jump into the car and naturally have that confidence. So I think it is, I personally don't believe there should be a women's series as such, but I think starting up at grassroots level, just to kind of build that confidence, and you'll never believe how much a little medal means, because when you're participating in your first event and there's probably 5 or 6 women in that category as opposed to about 25 guys, you compete in that segment and you just you just feel more confident. You're up on the podium, first, second, third, fourth, whatever, but you feel like you've made your mark there. And then as that confidence grows and you start participating in more events, then it becomes easier. And I said at the last show, it is different for everyone. And for me, first and foremost, I care about my times. And the wonderful thing about having so many of the guys there is their support and their motivation. And you know what, in a strange way, they actually do push you, because the two of us girls are here with these competitive Subaru guys. But when we look at that list, it's all Subaru. So we also want to be further up that list. So that's my take on it.
All right. Abdul, over to you.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because at the end of the day, there's so many different angles to look at from, in motorsport. So, like I said, what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep it, number one, as low cost as possible, and number two, as informal but professional. If you understand what I'm saying, it's a very difficult balance to find, because generally motorsport, me coming from a circuit racing background, it is very, very competitive. You find friends becoming bad friends after a while because it's so competitive, especially men. They have big egos. So obviously, they want to win at all costs. And, the Gymkhana is, when I moved from circuit racing to Gymkhana, it was Gymkhana, believe me, separates the men from the boys. It's a completely different ball game. And you guys will find that out sooner or later. So Nadia, I know that you mentioned about the medals. It's actually out of love to give you guys each a medal after the event, but it's actually difficult because we have to pay for the venue, and we pay quite a substantial amount of money for the venue, and all the money that the entry fee actually goes towards the venue. So one of our focuses in the next couple of years is to find a dedicated venue for Gymkhana, for drifting, for a couple of other of the other motorsports. Obviously, we won't be able to build a motor racing circuit like Ilani, but a big piece of tarmac, and that's one of our focuses, is to find, because then we can actually custom make it to the motorsport that we do, and we can keep the costs as low as possible, because it's not a business for us. We do it purely on a voluntary basis. And I think that is the big challenge we have in motorsport today, is to find the balance between volunteers and businesses. Businesses want to make money, volunteers want to do it because they have it, it's a passion. Yeah, so going back to Chett over there. Chett, you've got a very interesting car. When I spoke to you the first time before you entered, you tell me you have a very slightly tuned Subaru. Well, I didn't believe you, I must be honest. Well, tell us a little bit about that slightly modified. Slightly modified. Yeah, no, he actually said slightly tuned. And I thought it's a highly tuned and highly modified. Tell us a little about that car. I think these guys are going to be interested about this car.
Well, it started out as most cars do, as your daily drive. Then I kind of joined the Subaru Club, where Nadia was kind of the chair lady and that kind of thing back in Joburg about 8 years ago, and that's where it kind of all started. And you slowly start changing like suspension, the aspects of it. Then you start getting it tuned and adding mods and that kind of thing. And then over the years, we've just kind of developed the car to kind of where it is now. I actually also started tuning my own car about 7 or 8 years ago. And then I started winning some events, and then eventually people started asking me to tune their cars, and it actually became quite a good business for me. I actually started tuning a hell of a lot of Subarus in Joburg, which kind of paid for my addiction. But yeah, just slowly but surely, just got to know the car first with low power, and then started buying it and learning how to drive and learning the weight of the car and how it responds and the chassis and that kind of thing. And then just gradually building it up and up, step by step, and to where it is now. So I mean, currently, I took the big step way back when I was new. That's I wanted to build my own motor. You know, you want something done, you do it yourself. And there's a lot, obviously, in every brand, there's a whole lot of horror stories with, you know, people who build motors and stuff. So I built it myself on my patio at my house. I used my wife's dishwasher to clean some of the engine parts, as we do. And yeah, I've built some reliable motors. I'm only on my second motor in like 8 years. Obviously, I mean, I tune it. I know everything that's going on there. I run on ethanol. You know, keep it safe. I don't overdo it. You know, power's not the only thing, but response and torque. And yeah, that's where it is now.
Okay, so okay, I'm not very au fait with Subarus, right? I mean, I'm a Toyota man.
Yeah.
So the only thing I know about a Subaru, I think the Toyota 86 has got a Subaru 2-liter boxer motor. So this is flat engine,
FA
and I
motor.
assume they put the flat boxer motor in the 86 to keep the center of gravity lower, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So your car
Yes.
has got the 2-liter or the 2.5.
So I mean, yeah. Unlike this car is a 2005, late 2005, 2006. The Hawkeyes came out in Japan as a 2-liter initially, but mine was an ADM model, which is got shipped to the US and to Australia and Southern Africa or whatever. They were 2.5 liters. So the bulletproof motors were the 2-liter motors, but you know, they did have inherent problems. They did sometimes have ringland issues and that kind of thing. But yeah, mine's a 2.5 liter. Look, the cylinders have been pinned and all of that, so it is a little bit stronger mechanically. But yeah, and it just I prefer the 2.5 liter though, because it's got more torque low down, better spool. It actually works great down here at the coast as well, pre-boost or whatever. But yeah, otherwise I also run a totally rotated, yeah. No, totally rotated. Sorry, so rotated setup with a Garrett turbo and G25, all that stuff, like supporting mods to help everything.
Okay, so your business is called Chett Tune.
Yes.
And they can look you up on the internet, on wherever?
Yes. Yeah, I'm fully on Facebook. I think everybody probably in South Africa does know the name.
Okay.
So look, I've moved down to Cape Town. I do tune. I used to make trips down here to tune like 10 cars in like 4 days every couple of months. So now I'm down here permanently. I've got a quite a big following down here already. But like I said, come down to Cape Town. Not going to push anything. I do it because I love it. You know, I do have a full-time job in IT, and yeah, I still do it just purely because I love it and to get more guys out on the road.
Absolutely.
And keep them there.
Absolutely. Okay, Calvin, are you done with your wort and chips?
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I haven't eaten it yet, no.
Well, you can. I won't keep you too long. You can eat it now. But that's what this chat's about. It's nothing. It's not about perfection. It's about who we are. And we eat wort and chips, and we eat lamb curry and whatever you want to call this stuff, and salad, and I don't know, whatever else. So, Calvin, your car is also a Subaru, obviously. Little bit about your car. It's just a daily drive?
Daily drive to the shop and back. Well, work and back. At the moment, she's starting to show her true colors in terms of the small things that are coming up. So I got a list of things I need to sort out before the next Gymkhana. She held up pretty well on the last Gymkhana. I wanted to put a set of 15s with full slicks on it on the day, just to help spin up the wheels a bit better, but I couldn't get the 15s over the calipers on the day, so I sat there with the file, just trying to like make it happen. But eventually I was like, you know what? Let's go out on the 17, figure out what the car can do, and yeah, it's a 2-liter turbo bug eye. So it's a bit different to what you see pretty much on the road these days. The bug eyes, like not a lot of people like the bug eye, myself included. But it's got a special place in the enthusiasts' hearts. I'd love to do a facelift on it, but looking into going the opposite direction to the blob eye. I want to go maybe GC8 on the front of it, just to be a bit different. I like being different, and like I've got a CRX that I put a 2.5 Stevie motor in the back and a drivetrain, so it's a bit different. A one-off, but yeah, that will join the Gymkhana and the hill climb sometime soon. Hopefully next year.
It's going to be exciting. I just want to remind you that Scooby is your wife's car, not yours, eh?
Yeah, totally. No,
I mean, your girlfriend. Just. I'm hearing all the modifications coming on the Scooby here, and I'm sure it was your girlfriend. Come on, I understand. Boys are boys, and they want to make the faster going faster, and the faster going even faster. So it's quite interesting.
The modifications are safety mods.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's what they all say. Yeah. Yes.
I did ask the question: can I convert it to real wheel drive? Because I've got a couple of gearboxes and drift flying around.
You can bring anything. You can bring anything to a Gymkhana. That's the beautiful part of a Gymkhana. You can bring. Fatima spoke about that big Land Rover or whatever came, the bakkie. It was Mike van Assen's Land Rover. Actually, he capsized that thing at the oval track not long ago. He's okay. So he's busy rebuilding. This is like a really serious 4x4 Land Rover with massive tires coming to a Gymkhana. He's on two wheels all the time. Crazy. It just scares the crap out of me when he goes around a bend. But that's what it's about. So coming back to Faye and Nadia. So Faye, your car, I call it a mommy's car. And why I like it when you come with that car is because it depicts the true spirit of Gymkhana. Well, actually, all your guys' cars are road cars, but your car is like a real, like you can put you can put shopping bags at the back, and a baby seat, and you can come and drive Gymkhana. I mean, that's the beautiful part of Gymkhana. So you drive this thing every day to and from work, and you race with this. You do a rally sprint with this thing. It's awesome. Tell us a little bit about how. I don't understand, why did you choose that car to come and drive Gymkhana? Why didn't you just have a dedicated car?
Gosh, it's the only car I've got, and that's also for me. I want to try everything at least once in my lifetime, and unfortunately with Gymkhana I tried it once and I liked it. Must I say fortunately? But yeah, it's the only car at the moment. I mean, when I go to the Gymkhana and I see all the cars, even like the small little bakkies, and I'm thinking I need to get myself a little bakkie, like a 1600 little Nissan, mod it a bit and be able to drive like the rest of the guys. But yeah, like I said, it's the only car, but it is able to do its job. I find that when I do Gymkhana, I fight a lot with my car only because of the traction control. Because it keeps on wanting to correct my steering, and then you're like constantly having to fight against that. But it also just reaffirms the brand or Subaru in terms of its safety, and it really is confidence in motion. Because after that day, I walked away and I was like, okay, now I know I can do pretty much everything in that car, and I'll still be fine. Yeah.
Brilliant. Faye, just before I get into Nadia, Calvin, you have to go, and that's cool. But just before we go, I want to just thank you for being on the show tonight. Looking forward to seeing you on the 28th at Kirani for the last event of the year. And then hopefully in next 2021, we're going to have 6 to 8 events. Like I said, I have forwarded the dates to the powers that be, and we'll see what comes up. But thank you so much for being here. Any last words of encouragement for any newbie wanting to come out there and come and drive Gymkhana or whatever?
Yeah. Firstly, thanks a lot, Abdul, and everybody else that's involved. Carl in the background there. Shot, appreciate it. Newbies, like, just come and play. Bring your car, bring whatever it is. If you think it's like, if it's not going to make it, then you've got people around you that know how to make it work, you know, at the end of the day. So just come and join the family, have a good time. I'd love to be there. I'd love to bring the car on the 28th, so I have to admit that I'm putting this one out. I don't know if you noticed my name wasn't on the list, but I will be at the next one. Yeah, Caitlin's going to be working. There's a whole bunch of excuses I can throw around, but yeah, I'm not gonna be. I might pop in to come check out Daniel's doing, so and everybody else obviously. So say hi to the family. I've got a babysit. That's one of the excuses. But yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. It's actually our anniversary tonight, so that's why I was good.
Thank you so much for making time to come onto the show.
Appreciate it.
And
thanks,
you better get going, otherwise we're going to be in trouble.
No. Actually, it's pretty chill. So yeah, I'm quite lucky like that. But thank you, appreciate it. We'll chat soon. Have fun.
Cool. Byron, I'm handing you over to Nadia again for Nadia's next question, should I say?
Next question. Goodness, now you caught me out there quite a bit. Catch me up.
Okay,
Actually, you know what?
I have a question for Abdul.
Oh my word. We'll just refer to Byron. I'm listening, Nadia.
Abdul, when is your car going to be ready?
You know, my car, you know, it's a good question. So what actually happened? I'll tell you a little joke. So I actually bought this car. You know, when I bought the car, right? And it took me a couple of 2 or 3 years to build the car. And I stuck my old circuit racing motor in there, my 1300, just to check if the suspension, the brakes, and everything else was working well, which worked perfectly. I mean, I had no issue. I drove the car for 3 years. And then I had a brainwave to put in a bigger engine. Like, you know, because the 1300, it was good, it was quick, but it didn't have a lot of torque. And I needed that car revved very high, but I needed low down torque. So I decided to build another engine. So this happened pre-COVID. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I took the motor out pre-COVID. I thought, you know, COVID's going to go on for a long time. And I took the engine out. I didn't bother to do anything. And before I knew it, COVID was the kind of, okay, you guys can race again. And actually just the other day, well, it's in the process of being built. I'm not going to rush it because I've got the crank and the rods and the pistons and stuff back. So it's just a matter of putting it together. But you know me, I mean, I'm not going to rush anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a hell of a lot of fun next Saturday watching you guys drive. And then maybe, you know, over the Christmas period, I can slowly build the engine and put it in for the first session of next year. But I mean, I am itching to drive. You'll not believe it. But now getting Gymkhana's back on its feet again, it's, you know, it's also God sent in a way, because to drive and to organize is not easy. You know, you gotta focus on two things at the same time, and that's definitely not easy. So in a way, I'm blessed that I don't have my engine yet, or I haven't built the engine yet. So I can see you guys have a whole lot of fun for the last event, and then we can focus on next year again. Yeah, so I think that answers your question there,
Yes.
Nadia. Okay, we're gonna have to end off in about 8 minutes. So I have one last question. Byron's gonna have a last question for all of you as well. I just want to throw it out there. You know, the state of motorsport in South Africa is not in a good state at the moment. We are losing people like you can't believe. It's basically ending up being the people with loads of money that are driving, and even becoming too much for them. I just saw tonight on Facebook that there's a drag event happening at a venue later on in the year. The entrance is 2,200 Rand just to enter your car. Sure. Now, the gentleman that put it on Facebook, I mean, he's not short of money. And he said he's not driving because it's ridiculous to pay 2,200 Rand to enter an event. And I understand what he's trying to say. So just, you guys have been in motorsport for a long time. I mean, different facets of motorsport. And one of the reasons I got out of motorsport circuit racing was because of the politics. So I'm asking this question to each and every one of you. I'm going to start off with Chett. Where motorsport is today, forget where it is, because there's a whole lot of reasons why it is where it is. And one of the reasons is because the passion for motorsport for certain people has become a money-making thing, put it that way. And once you involve money with anything, it just becomes there's a lot of politics. But in your opinion, what do you think? And what we do with Gymkhanas, how do you think we can make this better? Because at the end of the day, we want motorsport to win. We want more people to come in. What are your views on this?
Yes. Well, I mean, from obviously a non-professional sport and whatever, I think, from all the stuff we did in Joburg and the Michelin Cup and that, it appealed to the people with road cars. It wasn't checkbook racing. It was, like 1300 class with like 70 kilowatts. We had our different classes, but I think for the amateur like motorsport type thing, you want to bring those families. You want the whole family to come in with the dad or the mom, like, competing. The guys just don't have money for, even the circuit racing stuff. And, it does become, when there's a lot of competition, the guys start modifying in that. And it shouldn't be about that. It should, right now, with all that's happened this year, it should appeal to the normal person out there, and you should be able to use a normal road car. That's also how we're going to bring the costs down. More people, but it's shared between more people. You can come out, and it's a family event. Unfortunately, that's at the moment. I think, unless you got lots of cash.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna, but I mean, look at GTC racing now. I mean, there's like 4 cars. Okay, there's a lot of politics in that whole thing now, also with MSA and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, even in karting's also got their own issues. There's lots of politics there, and I think it's got to appeal to the normal man on the street.
Absolutely, and I think that's where Gymkhana fits in.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's for everybody. You can come with the most highly modified car, and you can have a Joel. You can come. Biden actually drives to be honest with you, a 63 kilowatt 2E Toyota Taz. He drives it to the track and he drives it home, and he has a joule of a time. So Byron, just give us your views on what Chett spoke about there. And Fatima and Nadia, you guys better think about the same answers, because that's where we're going to be asking you the same question.
And Chett's point is perfect, because what happens is I'm gonna give you a little anecdote here now of a number of years ago. Great driver by the name of Four Fox raced GTI Challenge with Killarney, and he had a crash and he damaged his front suspensions, the left-hand side, the CD joint, everything was just all to pieces. And he sat out for 2 years of racing just because he just didn't have the funds to actually fix everything and get back onto the track again. And I think he came back for a short while, and now he's actually at Killarney. So he felt, to himself, I think, what, racing is great, but if it's too expensive, I can still do my motorsport another way in an efficient capacity. Now, the thing is, we've touched on the big forms of motorsport in this country. Years ago, we used to have Group N racing, which used to be magnificent. We're talking about, fields of over 50, 60 cars. They actually had to, at one stage, split the races up into 4 different races so they could actually accommodate everybody. And that was brilliant. But slowly but surely, it got expensive. Then suddenly the Group N aspect became production cars, which wasn't really proper standard production cars. You need to plug laptops in. You could adjust the roll cage for within the car. Everything started becoming like a touring car. And I remember the old Bankman touring car series actually became too expensive to run at one stage as well. And that's why in 2000 I was there at the last ever race for the Bankman touring cars. It just got too expensive, and that's why I like the idea of keeping everything to road going spec as close as possible. Liz, you want to see the purpose to build racing cars, you want to see all of that, but at the end of the day, you need something that really is affordable for everybody or for more people. Motorsport can never be a cheap
and that people, and that people can relate to. Not to these like 300 wheel kilowatt, 400 kilowatt things. It's the guys with the Golf 1s, Golf 2s, Golf 3s, the GTRs, the stock type cars. then they can relate to this stuff. You know?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. There's a good comment here. It said, unfortunately, today's races are only good for robot to robot. That is all they're interested in. I think many do not know that there are options out there, and that is true. I mean, robot to robot. There's nothing wrong with robot to robot. It's good. There's a place for that as well. And yes, Gymkhana is another option where you can use your road car to come and drive. And you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. We have a website. It's www.witzenberg.co.za. Go and look up what we do. We have an event on the 28th. There's another comment about spectators. Unfortunately, with COVID, we're not allowed any spectators. So that is beyond our control. But we do live stream. And thanks once again to Carl Bush in the background there for doing all the hard work. Yeah, so Fatima, you heard the question. We need your views and we need your views.
Okay, my view is going to be like very much a person on the street there. I think if we want to grow the sport and to take out politics and all of these other things, it's just to keep it simple. It's like come to the Gymkhana with your daily car, make it affordable so that people can participate, and then hopefully you'll get more people coming through. And at the end of the day, like you say, Abdul, you always insist that it's all about fun. It's all about fun. It's fun and family, and that's exactly what Gymkhana is about. And the more we can get that out there, the more hopefully we can get people to participate. I mean, Nadia started off. She invited me, then I joined, and then we invited Wendy to come along, and now Wendy's also keen. So hopefully we'll get to see her on the track next year with her Forester. So it's just inviting as many people as you can, creating that interest, and leave the politics outside of the track.
Absolutely. Just want to reply to a comment by Zaid Umar. Yes, you are allowed to come with 2 cars. It'll be 2 separate entries. So yes, you can come with the Subaru, and the other one, I believe it's a Bugatti Veyron. Yes, you can, but you are going to be paying for 2 entries then. And so my suggestion to you would be, come with as many cars as you want, but it's going to be a lot to handle for you, especially for your first time. So yes, you can come with 2 cars, but you got to fill in 2 sets of forms then and submit the 2 sets of forms. And Ashfaq, I'm going to get you when I see you. Ashfaq says, Abdul, your motor doesn't need more torque because you have enough torque. Well, I'm going to get him. Just wait. I'm going to see him soon. Okay, here's a question to Chett. How do I set up my car so that my ass can come around a lot easier? I struggle with handbrake turns.
Okay, well, are you talking Subaru's Zaid, like 4-wheel drive or whatever?
Yeah, I think Zaid has got a Subaru, I think.
Yeah, it's got a Forester, I think.
But
Okay.
either way, a Forester is pretty easy. I mean, you basically just got to transfer the weight to the front while you're turning and overload, and the back will come around. If you're going around a cone, look, a lot of us have hydraulic handbrakes, which makes a hell of a lot of difference. But you can take any car, even a stock Subaru with understeer, and you can get the back to come around if you transfer the weight correctly. You're welcome to come to the next Gymkhana event, and I'll show you. If you want, you can come drive with me. I'll explain it to you in your car. You could even come in my car and check it out.
I think, Zaid, the easiest way to do is get a rear-wheel drive. Your ass will come out all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, Nadia.
Yeah.
Same question. Answers.
Yes. So I think, everyone's kind of said exactly what I'm thinking. They've all hit the nail on the head. The beauty, Gymkhana ticks all the boxes. It is affordable. It is family. You drive your car to work on Friday. On Saturday morning, you get to the track, you have lots of fun, and then you drive back home on Saturday and you enjoy the rest of the weekend. And then on Monday, you drive back to work. So I think we have kept it simple from that perspective. Motorsport is expensive. It's probably always going to be expensive. And that's where Gymkhana ticks another box, where we are keeping it relatively affordable. And it's because I think you guys you're more passionate and you're not looking at just the rands. You guys love the sport and you want everybody to experience it. So you guys try to keep the costs down as much as you possibly can. So Witzenberg's doing all the right things. I think just to quickly touch on what Faye said. You know, we keep it simple. We get more people. You get a navvy, then slowly your navvy becomes a driver, and you know, we just keep building that up. But I think one very important thing that we also need to do and encourage people, like everybody that's watching us today. Probably not every single one of them would like to bring a car and drive. They might enjoy motorsport, but perhaps they don't want to drive. And that's where it's nice to encourage people to kind of get involved behind the scenes. We're always looking for marshals. We're always looking for timekeepers. We're always looking for people, you know, to assist you, to put cones out. Let's do that. You guys come and enjoy the day with us. It's not necessarily about the drive. We can all enjoy it together and grow the sport that way as well.
Nadia, thank you for covering my ass here, because, you know, I'm 54 years old and I'm really sick and tired of running after people and knocking cones over. So now I'm getting them to get back in their cars and going to put their own cones back, because it will teach them a lesson not to drive so tight to the cones. So...
those people we talk about that introduce extra colors to their existing paint job.
We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Chet, yes.
No,
Just give me 1 second.
Painting all the tires for the 28th. Just putting it out there.
We're going to paint all the tires the color of your car. So if we do knock the tires, it's going to be the same color. Don't worry. Chet, you can answer the question.
Zaid, that's perfect, man. Come around next weekend. The event is on Saturday, and with no problem. And that's what we're here for. And you can enjoy your car even more.
Yeah, I think he's driving next weekend Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I see he's entered. Yeah,
okay,
I see
cool.
his name on the list. Well, you've got to. I need to just help him fill in the. Nadia, can you do me a favor? You know Zaid, don't you?
Yes.
Just help him fill in the forms, please, man. He's got some hassle with the forms there. So now I can understand why he's got a hassle with driving the car. Because if the forms are complicated, imagine the tire pressures and the boost and all the rest of the stuff. I mean, that's going to be crazy.
Oh no!
and Zaid, that's just on a lighter note. But I'm going to get Zaid to actually get into a car. You can go with Chet, obviously, and maybe get him to go into a rear-wheel drive car as well, to see the difference between an all-wheel drive, a rear-wheel drive, and possibly even a front-wheel drive. Because there's a big difference between those three cars, trust me.
Massive difference.
So yeah, it's really gonna be awesome. You know, that's what Gymkhana is about. It's one big family. Yes, like I always say, we compete against each other, but at the end of the day, we complete each other. That's the most important. So Byron, any of your last thoughts? Because we gotta log off now.
No, I think, you know, coming up, I'm excited because it's not this weekend. Next weekend is our last one for the year. Unfortunately, it's our last one. But I think going into the new year, I know things are still uncertain. I say it every time, and the prospect of so many more coming into Gymkhana and enjoying themselves. Nadia actually said it quite well over there. If you don't come to drive, you know, come along. I actually say it, if you're not going to drive, just arrive. That's what I'm going to say here. And if you're a fan, you know, there's all kinds of ways to get involved with Gymkhana, whether it is not only as a driver, but as behind the scenes, timing, marshalling, you name it. Motorsport is full of great Samaritans and some great enthusiasts. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's my thought there for the ending off.
Good. Chet, any last thoughts before we log off there?
No, just pull in next weekend and come have a look. I think also, you know, we're limited to 25 entries, but I reckon next year, and I mean that 25 fills up within like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I think next year we could probably double those numbers quite easily with a little bit of you know, advertising and this getting out. I mean, I already have guys coming to me asking me, how can I actually do this? So yeah, I think it's just upward and forward.
Chet, just as a matter of interest, if although the list is full, if you have guys that want to join us on the 28th, just private message me.
Yes.
And I will see what I can do, because not everybody that always kind of puts your name on the list, the car's not always ready or something. So we can kind of wangle our way. You know, we can just private message me and we can take it from there.
Okay.
So although the list is
Perfect.
full, just let me know. Just yeah. Faye, any of your last thoughts before we gonna have some supper?
Yeah, I'm hungry actually.
can
But
see.
I just have to say thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to Witzenberg for creating the opportunity for people to actually come and try out their cars. People like myself, you know. So yeah, I would just like to encourage everyone that was watching tonight to participate, and even if you're not participating, just come out and see for yourself what it's all about. Fun and family. And yeah, just lastly, I would like to give a shout out to my family. They're all watching, all the kids especially. Shame's past their bedtime.
Nadia, your last thoughts? Nadia's frozen.
Sorry, guys, I lost you. I lost you there.
I just said your last thoughts.
My last thoughts, yeah, just everybody come meet the family. You know, it's weekends. You generally go to the family, come meet the Gymkhana family. We want to meet you guys. We want to show you what we get up to on a weekend. And just come chat to the competitors, jump into their cars, experience it, and then you can decide whether you want to do it or not. But just come experience it. Bums and seats.
Absolutely. Byron?
Oh, yeah, again for myself. Okay. Be there. If you can be there. And I know it's COVID. Next year, hopefully fans again, because we need the folks. We need the people. You know, you watch a lot of sporting events on TV. It's just not the same without the fans, without the people, because they're the ones who want to come and see, make all the noise, and make you feel like a real hero. You know, I felt like a hero at Gymkhanas before when you get off a run and people applaud you. It makes my head grow very big, but you know, it's a small price to pay for having fans.
Absolutely. So guys, you know what? Thank you very much once again for being on the show tonight. It's really great having you guys on, and you know, it's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
That's a pleasure. You know what? It's an absolute pleasure. You know, we gotta. You know, over the years that I've been racing. I mean, I'm 54, so I've been racing for a long time, since my 20s. So you want to kind of give something back to the sport, and this is my way of kind of giving back to the sport. But that driving is still in my blood. So next year when I'm back driving, I don't know who's going to organize all these events. You guys got to find someone else to organize, because I can't be competitive and organize. It takes a lot of my brain space. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. So thank you very much, each and every one of you, for giving up your time for being here tonight. And we're definitely going to see you guys on the 28th. And like I said, if anybody wants to join us on the 28th, just get a hold of me, get a hold of Chett, Nadia, Fatima, anybody, get hold of anybody. And so they say, boer maak 'n plan. And we'll see what we can do, because we are obviously, we have a certain time restraint from the venue. And we kind of, you know, not guided, we kind of have to fall in with that guidelines. So one of the big focuses for everybody out there is we need to build our own piece of tarmac, so we can come and do the drifting, we can do the Gymkhana, we can do the whatever you want to call it, super drift and Gymkhana and whatever you want to do. And you know what? That's one of our major goals. So thank you once again for being on the show tonight. We'll see you guys next week. We have some interesting guests. We might have Sarah van der Merwe on the show next week. And it's going to be quite interesting, but I'll let you guys know closer to the time. Yeah, so guys, I'll chat to you guys again. All the best. Have a wonderful evening. Carl, thanks for all the background work there. You're doing an awesome job, my friend. You know, we never see you, but thank you. There's Carl. Thank you so much. And chat to you guys.
Thanks,
next
Kyle.
Week. Just push the, you know, just subscribe to our channel, to the YouTube channel there. And on Facebook, just follow us on Facebook and whatever other social media there is out there. Medium there is. I don't even know all the terms. But let's have a draw, guys. Thank you, guys. Chat to you soon.
Cheers,
See you guys
guys.
next week.